Hey team, hello, welcome. How are you, my loves? It's so wonderful to be here with you. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're new around here, I'm Evie. I am a life and confidence coach and business mentor, and you are listening to the Unstoppable You podcast. It's so wonderful to be here. I hope you're so well. I hope you're having the best day. And I'm so excited to dive into today's podcast episode all about building true inner confidence. And one of the things that I think that we're not talking about enough that I feel like is missing from this conversation that no one's really talking about. So stay tuned for that. But before we dive into today's episode, would love to invite you into the confidence code. At the time of recording and releasing of this podcast episode, it is going to be in the final days of the open cart period. The doors are still open for the next few days. We kick off on the 25th of November, 2024. So if it's still time to come join us, definitely don't delay. This is the time to act. If you've been sitting on the fence, thinking about it, loving these last few episodes that I've been talking a whole lot more about belief and confidence and inner connection, then this is the program for you. So it's a 4-week coaching program, blending group coaching. There's also bonus one-to-one coaching program in there, coaching call in there. So if you've been thinking about doing some one-to-one work, wanting to sort of like test out what coaching's really about, this could be a really great way to do that and a really great cost-effective way to do it as well. So this program is all about really building the core skills of building true inner confidence so that you can be really confident in who you truly are and what you truly want from this lifetime and have the confidence to go after that and create a life that you truly, truly love. So click the link below in the show notes of the description. I can't wait to be doing this and I can't wait for you to join us. It's going to be so incredible. Okay, so quote of today's podcast episode is from this gorgeous book here. The Daily Mantras to Ignite Your Purpose, to Live Your Best and Bravest Life by Lisa Messenger. Love this beautiful one. It's really lovely one just to have on your desk or pick up by the side of your bed or something and have a dose of inspiration. And anyway, today's quote for the one that I flipped to on today for the time of recording this is this particular quote. Okay, so this is an Albert Einstein quote. Everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it is stupid. Just going to read that one again. Everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. That's by Albert Einstein. And then on these beautiful pages, there's an affirmation at the bottom. And the affirmation today is, I acknowledge my own self-worth and my confidence is rising. Love that. Isn't that interesting? I really love that quote. And I think that it's so true, right? It's that whole conversation around like comparing yourself to others or, looking outside of ourselves for what we should be doing or shouldn't be doing and comparing and judging ourselves. And so when we do that, of course, that's going to make us feel pretty shitty or pretty unhappy within ourselves or not good enough. And I think it just feeds those not enoughness, unworthiness stories. And actually we're all geniuses. We're all confident. We're all brilliant. We all have our own unique gifts and strengths. And if we can really start to tap into that and own that, embrace that, I mean, that's a part of what I like to call your authentic magic, then like that's where true inner confidence comes from as well, because you're owning who you truly are and living into that and really sharing your soul's gifts and, your uniqueness. And so it's not about being someone you're not. It's not about, like the fish trying to climb the tree when it's not designed to do that. I think that this quote is really fitting for today's podcast episode. And I'm really glad that I pulled this one. It's been really inspiring and really cool. So I hope that lands or resonates with some of you, maybe a little dose of inspiration for you. So let's get into the conversation today. So I really wanted to, obviously talking a whole lot more about confidence, but what I was thinking about was some of the things that are missing. What are the things that no one really talks about or shares when it comes to creating true, lasting inner confidence from within? And and it's this, right? Like, what if I told you that the secret to building that true inner confidence from within, like really lasting confidence, not just like those fleeting moments of like, oh, I feel really good and I'm going to go out and do that thing. I mean, really feeling inner confidence from within, knowing who you truly are, feeling connected and believing and trusting and worthy within yourself. Like, what if I told you the secret to that is not about like pushing even harder or achieving more or faking it till you make it, or putting on this mask or this facade or this big armor, or feeling fearless, or like completely being someone that you're not, or not true to yourself? What if I told you that there's another way, that there's actually something that's a lot more quieter, that's gentler, but yet far, far more powerful? And what if I told you that that missing ingredient, that key thing that I think no one ever talks about, or not enough at least, is self-compassion? What if I told you that the secret to building lasting confidence is not about those masculine things and doing something that you're not, or being someone that you're not, or putting on these things? It's really about truly, truly having a level of self-compassion, of love and kindness, of trusting in yourself, of feeling worthy and owning who you truly are. Like that's a big part of this, yeah. And I think this is a big part of the way that I love to teach and coach people through feeling really confident with themselves, because if we don't, then we're missing this key part. And I think that that's the thing that doesn't support people to build the lasting change, the lasting inner confidence. It could be those fleeting moments, or in one scenario or one area of your life that you've built the confidence around, maybe that there's some change there, but maybe it's not the lasting change, and maybe that's not a true inner confidence. Because when you build the true inner confidence, no one can ever take that away from you. And no matter what life throws at you, because life's going to throw you some hurdles. There's going to be some curveballs. There's going to be some twists and turns. That's reality. That's fact. But those things shouldn't be the things that knock you off your horse, that really shake your inner confidence. Sure, there might be times where it really tests you. Maybe it's opportunities to up level and anchor back into this and really develop those skills and fine tune them. For many of you, I've talked about this on Instagram as well, that, for some of you, you may have done this work on confidence and believing and trusting in yourself and creating that inner connection with your true self. But this might be a really great opportunity to come inside the confidence code and reprioritize that, like really anchor back into that and make that more of a priority for you right now. And sometimes we need those moments. Yeah. And I've shared this before. But this last couple of years has been probably one of those times for many people where it's tested us, where we've been thrown many challenges in many different areas of our lives or in different ways. And so this is, I think, the opportunity. This is the loving invitation to come back to this work. So the confidence code is really for you if you are wanting to really build that beautiful, loving relationship with yourself, to build those skills of unstoppable self-belief and inner confidence. Yes. And also, if you've done some of this work, if you feel like you've built some of this relationship with yourself and done some of this inner work, then it might be the opportunity to come back to reprioritize this, to have those loving reminders that you need from time to time to up level and really deepen those skills within yourself. And this has absolutely been a process that I have personally done more and more in recent times, particularly this year. And gosh, it's been such a game changer. Gosh, it's been so helpful. So let's talk a little bit more about some of the myths around this, and then we'll talk a bit more about compassion, self-compassion. So, when I shared earlier, sometimes there's these false narratives or stories that we're fed or conditioned to believe around what it is to be a confident person. You've probably heard me share this before, or heard these versions before, that you have to be the loud one, you have to be extroverted, that you have to be like this, have this really tough exterior, that you have to be fearless, that you have to be really driven and achieving and more and doing all this stuff. And essentially, putting on this big bravado about who you are. But I actually believe that that's completely untrue. And I think it's the complete opposite, really. If you think about like masculine and feminine energies, that's more in your masculine, right? That I'm fearless. I've got to put on this armor and this mask. I'm achieving, I'm, stretching, I'm faking it till I'm making it. I'm doing all of this stuff. Yeah. But I think the opposite is true. I think true inner confidence really is coming from that beautiful, loving, feminine energy and that feminine space of truly loving yourself and accepting yourself, having that level of self-compassion. It's really about connecting to your intuition, your true self, getting to know your most authentic self and really having the courage to embody that and live unapologetically in alignment with your true self. It's really about that loving, yet the subtle yet powerful, loving energy that is you. It's that beautiful radiating effect. I talked recently on the podcast around that. Go check out that episode about what I define true inner confidence to be. And so that's more in your loving you're in your loving feminine energy, right? And I think it's not about the things that we put on. It's not about being someone that you're not. It's not about faking it till you're making it or being fearless. And just on that point around fearless, I think that there needs to be also a conversation around changing our relationship with fear and seeing it as information, seeing it as insights, information, triggers, and maybe also that you're in completely the right place. So, for example, it might be that it's like, oh, there's some fear. I'm feeling a bit nervous about this. There's a few doubts and wobbles. What is this telling me? Oh, it's new. It's different. Oh, I'm going to need to lean into this skill, or it's going to require me to stretch and grow and up level in this way. And that feels a bit uncomfortable. And there's a little bit of uncertainty there. Maybe the fear is an indication of uncertainty, of unfamiliarity. Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's one of the signals to you. Maybe that's one of maybe that's some of the information that it's trying to tell you. For others of you, it might be that, and I've talked about this with basically every single client that I've ever worked with before. If you come into coaching with me, almost all of you have shared with me, and I've experienced this myself as a client as well, a level of nervousness and excitement. Like there's a bit of fear. Like I'm nervous about this. It's unknown. I know that I'm going to have to show up. I know that I'm going to be stretching and growing. That's why I'm here. But I'm also really excited because I know I'm in the right place. And when you combine those two things together, nervousness and fear, nervousness and excitement and fear, that means that you're in the right place. So what if the fear was saying, hey, this means something to you. This matters. Like you care about this. You want to do a good job. You want to show up and do well. You want to achieve, etc. Maybe the fear is telling us that we're in the right place, that this is stretchy, but we want to be stretching and going and growing. Remember, that's what we're here for. We're humans. We want to be growing and evolving. Yeah. And so actually fear is a big part of the journey. And so it's never about being fearless. We need to just delete that from our vocabulary. And now when we think about true inner confidence, really self-compassion has to play a part in this. It has to be forefront in many of these conversations and so much of this work. When I think of some of the big things that take away from confidence, which I talked about last week on the show, fear and doubt is so much driven by your inner critic. That's that, negative fear-based voice that's telling you you're not good enough, pretty enough, smart enough, etc. And I think, the anecdote to that, the solution is dialing that down. Yes, developing that beautiful loving connection with your true self and your intuition, and ramping up that self-compassion. And now, so how do we do that, right? For some of you, that might seem so foreign, and thinking about being really kind to yourself and having a loving, reassuring voice. For some of you, that might feel, so foreign, so unfamiliar to you. Maybe you haven't had that reflected back to you before. Maybe you haven't built those inner skills within yourself. Maybe you were never taught this stuff growing up. And many of you, that will probably be the case, unfortunately. And that's That's okay. You're here doing the work now, and you have the ability to turn that around and start to develop these beautiful skills within yourself. And I certainly resonate with that 100%. So you're not alone in this, but developing a loving relationship with yourself and a self-compassionate inner dialogue is such a game changer. If you're a high achiever, if you're a people pleaser, if you doubt yourself, overthink, overanalyze, etc., and are really hard on yourself, then really, really developing a loving, self-compassionate voice and being kind to yourself is so, so important. So, so important. And it's one of those things of like, there's many things that are interwoven in many of these conversations, and you would have heard this. You'll probably hear me talk about similar things, but in different ways and looking at it from different angles. And this is why I often talk about some of the inner work being like a puzzle, because we're slotting these puzzle pieces into place. But one of the big ones, and one of the ones that I think is often left out of the equation, is the self-compassion piece. We think about, okay, well, I need to turn down the doubt. I need to turn down the inner critic. I need to build the skills of being confident in myself. I need to ramp up the belief within myself. I need to trust myself. Yeah, absolutely. But that's not going to be lasting unless you've built a loving relationship with yourself, unless you've built like the resilience piece. And I think that that's where their self-compassion comes in, right? Is that life's going to continue to life. Life's going to continue to throw things at you. And self-compassion is the voice that says, hey, I got you. Hey, I know this is really scary and challenging right now, but I'm here for you. Like, I believe in you. There is a way. And like, hey, you don't need to beat yourself up about that thing. You don't need to worry about failing because I got you. You did such a great job. You're doing the best that you possibly could with the resources that you have, with the time that you have, with the decisions that you had to make at the time. Like, you did an amazing job. You're okay. You're human. And it really helps to, I think, I'm glad I said the word human there because it sort of triggered something with me. It's like, it's really humanizing you. It's like, I'm not this robot that has to perform and achieve and strive and have this armor and this metal facade. Like, I can be human too. We make mistakes, we learn, we grow, we evolve. Sometimes we might fumble. Sometimes we might need to build some more inner strength. Sometimes we might need to go to the gym and do some of the reps and do some of the practice and all of the things that help us prepare for that thing that we're feeling a little bit wobbly or shaky on. But that's a part of it, and we can do that. And the beautiful thing about humans is that we learn and we grow, that we're always evolving, and that we have the power to do all of the stuff within ourselves. That actually, confidence is never an external thing, it's an internal thing. And so when you build this stuff, when you build true inner confidence, no one and no thing can ever take that away from you. Yeah, it might wobble it. Yeah, it might test it. Yeah, it might be like, oh, we've got to really ramping up these things, got to really double down on this stuff now. But it's not like, no one can take that away from you. That's you. That's you. And that's the beautiful thing about confidence and about building this loving connection with yourself and about these beautiful inner skills, is that they play out in everything, in every situation, in every part of your life, because they are you. And yeah, no one can take them away from you. And it's the stuff that helps everything. It's the stuff that helps everything and makes you feel so much better about yourself on a day-to-day basis. So I would love this to be, if this is landing and resonating, I would love for you to, this to be your invitation about thinking about, how can I start to build more self-compassion within myself? How can I start to speak more kindly to myself? How can I start to dial down my inner critic even more? How can I start to build this like resilience within myself, that I don't have to be someone I'm not. I can be human, that I'm worthy, that I'm perfect just the way that I am, that, yeah, I don't have to have all these external things or that armor or the fake it till you make it or the fearless thing. Actually, when I'm loving and compassionate towards myself, this is where, a big part of true inner confidence. So I hope this is like a loving reminder, your invitation to look at this a little bit further. And of course, if you want if you want the support with this, if you want the program to help you to do that, then the confidence code is 100% for you. I'm excited for this, and I hope that you've taken so much from today's episode. Just remember to really own who you are, your gifts. Remembering that quote from the start is that not comparing yourself to other people, really owning your genius, staying in your own lane, really celebrating and having that loving, compassionate relationship with yourself. So important. So I hope this is helpful for you, and have loved these conversations, my love. Anyway, hit me up in a DM on Instagram. I'll link it below if you want to chat about this. Would love to hear your thoughts. As always, love to hear what's landing, what's resonating, and what you want to hear more of. So please let me know if you've got suggestions, podcast requests. I'm all ears. Would love to hear that. All right, gorgeous humans. Thank you so much for sharing this space and time with me. I've loved this. And yeah, I really do appreciate you for taking that time. Please share this with your loved ones. If you know there's someone in your life that could really benefit from this conversation, that needs to hear this stuff, please send it to them. It is, or share it on your Instagram stories and tag us. It is the only way that we get this podcast out and these conversations out to more and more humans. And I think it's needed. All right, my loves, I will talk to you really soon.